You know, there are movies that entertain you, movies that stick with you, and then there are movies that feel like they actually happened. Well, tonight on Friday Night Rentals, we have some of those movies. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to AVA Pop Culture and another episode of Friday Night Rentals. The pizza is hot once again. The Coke bubbles are fizzing all over the place. It is Friday night, old school style, pizza, Coke. You got some Pringles, maybe some Cool Ranch Doritos, and you are ready to go. And tonight, with it being a holiday weekend, it is Good Friday today. I wanted to switch things up a little bit here on Friday Night Rentals. So we're not going explosions tonight. We're not going over the top action or 90s after dark. We're going with some movies that feel real, the ones that touch us inside, stories that pull you in, performances that don't feel like acting, and moments that feel like they could have just happened down the street, right outside. And we are going to build the perfect evening with the holiday weekend in mind and all of those elements. So let's open the video store and get to it. All right, the video store is open. I love this lineup tonight. It's very different. A lot of these are movies that you probably know really well. Some of them push beyond the old VHS era, but they fit here perfectly for this weekend. And you can get all these movies on physical media. You can check them out on Tubi, streaming. These movies are easily accessible and they are perfect for this weekend. So let's grab it and get ready. If you grew up on cable TV or even broadcast TV, the opening crowd pleaser for tonight is one that should be no stranger to you, because if you flip through the channels anywhere or if you saw it in the video rental store, this thing was everywhere, especially on Easter weekend. Tonight's crowd pleaser is The 10 Commandments, starring Charlton Heston. This one locked you in with old school movie making. If this thing was on, plans were canceled. This thing was going to stay on. You are watching the rest. Total spectacle of a movie. Yes, it is one of the biggest movies ever made. Charlton Heston as Moses, Yul Brynner as Ramses, huge sets, thousands of extras, the Red Sea being parted. But what makes this work and why it still holds up is how seriously it treats the source material, in this case, the Bible, and with such reverence. At the beginning, they come out and they talk to you before this film starts about how they're trying to stick to this and pay it the most respect as possible. Moses, though, in this movie, despite it being a huge spectacle, he doesn't really feel like a larger-than-life character. He never sees it in himself, at least not right away. He feels like a guy who's trying to figure out who he even is. I mean, he's a prince of Egypt. You watch him go from Egyptian royalty to losing everything, to wandering the desert, to slowly becoming the man who he is supposed to be. And that journey feels earned. He is pounded into the earth until he is ready to be molded all over again. And then even the relationship with Ramesses still has a lot of weight and layers to it. They're not just enemies. They're two men who grew up together like brothers. Now they're on opposite sides of something bigger than them that was planned before they were even on Earth. So even with all the spectacle, the reason this movie sticks is because it feels grounded in real people, people that you can read about, people that are documented about. And for a holiday weekend, for Good Friday, this was a Good Friday staple on cable and over-the-air television. This is a classic crowd pleaser, as big as it gets, full spectacle, a beautiful 4K, one of the top 3 4Ks I have ever seen that exists today. You have to check this out no matter how you do it. A perfect crowd pleaser to kick us off on this weekend, the 10 Commandments.
Who shall withstand the power of God?
And now for our cult hit, or our indie hit this week. It's much more of an indie hit than a cult hit because it's one of the biggest movies ever made from a box office standpoint, and it is the biggest independent movie ever made. It is something that feels extremely real. We go from spectacle that feels real to something that feels like you are watching it happen, and it stays with you, and that is perfect for this weekend. It is The Passion of the Christ. Now, this is the Mel Gibson movie that he produced and got off the ground as an indie production that just, made billions of dollars. But this movie feels too real. Sometimes this is a very difficult film to watch, but a film that everyone should watch, because The Passion of the Christ doesn't feel like a traditional movie. It feels like something that you're not supposed to look away from, that you're supposed to watch and endure and experience to have some sort of foundation of respect of what happened. And the moment that this thing came out, it wasn't just release, it was a moment. And a lot of it came from how raw this thing felt. There's very little traditional dialogue in this movie, no big Hollywood movie moments, no relief from what's happening whatsoever. And Jim Caviezel plays it completely straight. It's almost like watching a documentary or watching footage of something that was happening, that just happened yesterday. And there's no theatrics, there's no overplaying of this. It's just quiet, physical, emotional commitment that it takes to watch it and go through it. The way it's shot, so close, so intimate, almost absolutely uncomfortable at times, but it puts you right there with it all, and that's what makes it hit. It feels so real. Whether you connect with it spiritually or just from a filmmaking standpoint, this is one of those movies where you don't just watch it, you feel like you went through something. So this is one of those movies that definitely feels real. It fits our stack of rentals tonight, and for a holiday weekend like this, it is absolutely perfect. Passion of the Christ is our indie hit this week.
Papa. Spoko.
All right, so now we're going to shift gears just a little bit to a hidden gem double feature this week. And I think this is a perfect double feature, though I admit these are outside of when you would have probably rented them at the VHS rental store. Breaking the rules a little bit for this special night of rentals this week. But the first one up is one that is just fun, but feels absolutely real, and that is Crazy Stupid Love. This is one of those movies where the more you watch it, the more you realize how well put together it really is. On the surface, it's a romantic comedy, but underneath it, it's about how real relationships are messy, how crazy they can be. Steve Carell's character is dealing with his entire life getting flipped upside down after 25 plus years of marriage to his high school sweetheart. And then here comes Ryan Gosling's character, who is confident, ladies' man, old school kind of gentleman vibes to him, the way he dresses and carries himself, almost Mad Men style, but higher end, almost a too smooth guy. And then you also throw into this, you've got Julianne Moore, Emma Stone is in this film. You have some scenes from Kevin Bacon in here, Marissa Tomei. This thing is absolutely stacked. And what makes it work is it doesn't play like it's a bunch of people who have it all figured out and it's slick and cool. It's got awkward moments, bad decisions, things that are like they're hard to watch because they're so awkward. People saying the wrong things at the wrong time, confusion, miscommunication. And then that moment, and you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where everything connects. There's part of this that is a legendary gif or a meme where Ryan Gosling's laughing, and it is earned. That's what makes this movie hit so hard, is everything about it is earned. It's funny, it's sharp, but more than anything, it makes it feel like you are watching real people try and fail and try again. It is infinitely rewatchable. I think it gets better the more you watch it, and I beg you to check it out. Underrated hidden gem, Crazy Stupid Love. And then the second in our double feature of hidden gems is one that was hidden from me even until recently when I got it on a 4K restoration. This one flies under the radar for a lot of people, but that is Hail Caesar. And this is a Coen Brothers movie, and I'm actually not the biggest Coen Brothers guy overall. They have movies that I really love, and then they have movies that I can do with or without. But what makes this one fit in here is Hail Caesar is all about movies. Now, not necessarily the polished version we see now, but everything behind the curtain. And then it doubly plays because in the movie, they're making a movie that is somewhere a sort of a mix between the Ten Commandments and Passion of the Christ and Jesus of Nazareth. So they're making a movie, and that fits in on this holiday weekend. But you've got Josh Brolin basically trying to hold an entire movie studio together back in the golden age of the Hollywood. We're talking like, I think it's the 40s here or 50s. While the actors don't quite fit their roles, productions are going off the rails. You have the Red Scare beginning here, and that is kind of made fun of in the movie, although it's made to have been really happening. And you're right in the middle of it all. And I'm just going to tell you right now, Josh Brolin, I mean, this movie has George Clooney. It has Ralph Fiennes, Jonah Hill, Scarlett Johansson. It has Tilda Swinton, Channing Tatum. It has just an amazing cast. Josh Brolin blows them all off the screen. He's incredible in this film. And right in the middle of it all, they're making this big biblical epic about the life of Christ, as I was saying. And the movie does so well to show you both sides at one time. The magic of movies and the absolute mess behind them. It's funny, it's weird, it's very Coen Brothers, it's beautifully shot. It pulls you in. But underneath it all, it's about how artificial movies really are and how real the people who are making them actually are. And honestly, this is one a lot of people missed, but it's one of those movies that gets better the more you sit with it. I've actually watched it twice since I got it. Those are my first two ever watches, and I don't want you to miss it. This is a beautiful 4K, but however you can watch it, I highly recommend Hail Caesar. So it's going in our Friday night rentals this week. And then finally, it is that time again. It is late night. It is a little darker. The neon lights are flickering, and it is that time to head down the horror aisles of our memories once again, where that cover art pulls you in, where it takes us back in our hearts and minds to a different place in time, and we're all kids again renting those horror movies. And yes, even on a weekend when we're looking at movies that feel real and more genuine, and on a holiday weekend, Easter weekend, there is a little room for that horror aisle. And tonight our rental is 1986's April Fool's Day. Now this fits in perfect because we just had April Fool's Day. It's right here. This is the perfect time to watch this movie because even horror can feel real just in different ways. And I picked this one not only because it fits in right here at April Fool's Day, and it's a holiday weekend, so you say horror doesn't fit, but this one actually celebrates the sort of holiday of April Fool's Day. And it's not over the top because of the twists in this film. And I'm not going to get into those and spoil it in case anyone hasn't seen it. But April Fool's Day sets itself up like every other 80s slasher you've ever seen. Group of friends, isolated location, weird stuff starts happening, and you think, okay, I know exactly where this movie is going. But then the movie knows that you know. It's like, I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know kind of thing. And it starts playing with you from that point. And then you get to the ending, which like I said, I will not spoil, but it flips everything. And suddenly what felt like a typical slasher feels a whole lot more grounded than you would expect. Like something that could actually happen between a group of friends who kind of have too much money, too much time on their hands, and like to do things that are out of the ordinary. And that also kind of changes the feeling of this and lets it fit in better with a holiday weekend too. It's clever, it's self-aware, and it is perfect timing for early April. And for this particular video, April Fool's Day is the trip down the horror aisle this week. Check it out. So there you go. There is your Friday Night Rentals sort of real stories, holiday weekend, Easter weekend edition. A little bit emotional, lots of grand spectacle, lots of spirituality, a little bit offbeat, a change of pace, a mix, just enough kind of edginess to keep things interesting. And if this lineup proves anything whatsoever, it proves that you don't need spectacle to make movies memorable. You just need something that feels real, something that is embedded in our lives that we can all relate to. And let me know in the comments which one of these movies felt real to you. Let me know other movies that feel real to you, because we're going to kind of be talking about this over the next week or so here on the channel. But tonight, this is our stack of rentals, perfect for Easter weekend. God bless all of you out there. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you enjoy what we're doing here and you want to support it a little bit more, you can join my Patreon. The link is always in the description, and you'll get your name in lights on every single video. Behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, special members only videos, and so much more. And everything helps the channel. And I hope you have a great weekend. Watch some movies, spend some time with the family, have a good time, and I'll see you real soon. But don't forget, be kind, rewind like always. Bye-bye. I know.